floor now is the table, so are we going to reverse that again?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garza, you're gonna remove to approve this item. Councilwoman Trevino, you're gonna second that motion. Okay, so we're back on the floor with the approval of item 9B. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, council. Item 9C, discuss and consider an act on a memorandum of understanding between Community Real Services and the City of Pearsall to allow Community Real Services to use the City of Pearsall Community Room and waive rental free. This is an action item. May I have a motion, please? Motion by Councilwoman Agar, then we have a second. Second by Councilwoman Tiffany Talamontes, Assistant City Manager, you have the floor.
So, you have before you a memorandum of understanding. Mr. Reyes and I met with the executive director of the Camino Real Community Services, and they would like to use the library community room to offer some of their services in counseling to their residents. And because they don't have room currently where they're at, and I called Mr. Reyes, they were closing one of their other offices. So their clientele has grown, and they've outgrown that office space that they're currently in. So some of their counselors are not able to meet on a more regular basis because they don't have a place. So they are requesting, we currently rent, excuse me, the community room. They're requesting that we waive those fees and enter into this memorandum of understanding.
Or how long is one on?
They said for a year, and it'll be, they'll work around our schedule, the library schedule, and also for any rentals. So they will check to see when they need those, like twice a month, and they will check first to see what's available and pick those dates.
All the services that they provide to the community, free to the community?
Well,
They have to
they
have,
are, right?
they are free, but they have to fall under certain criteria that they use for the mental health services. But it is a service they do provide to them.
So this service is not,
Council, please. Yeah.
this service is not gonna be offered in this new building?
That, I'm not sure, this
That's what it is.
building was before I was here. I think it's a different type of service. That is gonna be more of a community center.
Which one?
Mayor,
The Camino Real, that's,
to my understanding, that's what, they moved from Dilly, because they were moving into that building to, because the county was going to rent it out to them or something, right?
The new building? It was all coming up.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they have a space here, they have a space here where the health department is at, or right here, right here from the post office, they have space there. But from what I understand is they are, it's pretty tight in there, that's my understanding. And so they're requesting to use this space to provide some of their services. I believe it's in the evening, Ms. Moran? Is it when they're providing the services, or is it?
for the use of the library,
Yes.
it's gonna be during the day.
And what
And
is
it's
this,
meant specifically mental health services.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes back to what we discussed in the beginning. You know, we're going back to donating time, donating space from the city. If anyone else that pays taxes, we're gonna charge them for it. You know, how many other entities are gonna come and ask for waiver fees?
We already, I'm not gonna
You
know,
know?
we already offer some of these services, and we're not charging these. We have the hearing aid company that comes and does testing there for hearing. Not in the community room, but the library, and then there's also the legal aid clinic. They use the computers for one of their clients will get on the computer and they'll have like a virtual one-on-one. Those services are offered there as well.
You
All
know,
at the
what-
expense of the general public.
What Mayor Pro Tem, I mean, you're spot on, I mean, we need to be careful that, but the one thing to think about, this is mental health.
Yeah.
And mental health is a crisis, and it's elevated, and it's extremely expensive to do that. So anything that we can do to help minimize that, I mean, it would be something that we'd probably look at maybe sacrificing for. And it's a one-year contract, and we can dissolve it at any time by our, it says by our, what is it? We can dissolve, let's say, unless terminated by mutual agreement.
Yes.
So it's from June of '24 to June of '25. So it does require a mutual
Whole year,
agreement,
yeah.
but it is mental health. So council,
So the only question that I have, Mayor, is, this type of service, is it okay to be performed during, while this is, the library is operating with other public people?
So it's inside the community room with closed doors.
I'm just saying, like,
If somebody
Yeah.
goes,
There's
to
doors,
take off, there's doors,
to the
kids.
what liability does the city gonna hold if something were to occur?
For sure.
I think, again, I don't wanna speak, cause I probably didn't sit in on enough meetings, but part of it is what I understand, these are low, sort of low risk, they're not folks that
Oh, yeah.
are high risk, they're, you know.
They might just be having a
episodes or whatever
crisis
it is.
at the moment.
Yes, that's what I understand.
I mean, we can certainly ask, I did try to reach out to the executive director, but I've been having some issues with my
council,
my
it is,
email, so
it is a motion to
I
act
can
on.
table it if you would
It-
like
well,
to.
it's a motion to act on it, so you can allow the city manager to ensure that they're not high-risk individuals. If you'd like to include that in there, yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Is Bobby available?
Bobby is,
He's on site.
Yes, it is.
Yes, he's just finishing up.
I'm just,
Again, these are counseling sessions, so they're not like full-blown mental health. These are mostly counselors that you find in the schools where, you know, they might even have students that will come as part of their plan, but these are like counselors that, I think they also discussed having one or two at the school as well.
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
council, we've got our counselor in here. Bobby, there's a question on item 9C. Mayor Pro Tem, you wanna broach that with our attorney?
Bobby, on this, community service, they're asking for us to allow them to utilize the public library and waiving all fees to utilize that room
For years.
for a full year. Is there an issue with that, or, I mean, have you looked at this contract, or?
Which one are we looking at specifically?
Item 9C.
No, I'm looking, in terms of the agreement,
Yes.
where, what I'm trying to get at is, are they exclusive use permanently all the time to the,
On
Or
certain
just-
days.
On certain days,
On certain days?
certain hours, utilize our library community room that we rent out, for a fee. They will work around, the schedule that we keep so that our library continues their activities and doesn't interrupt those. And also any rentals that we will have,
Our
or other
concern is
events.
there's gonna be a liability, like say something happens with one of their clients and
no, not any more library than exists currently. Now, tell me, what services?
Mental health counseling.
That's what,
Yeah, and it's for example, they'll have, counselors that go to the schools and will reach out to students who may, you know, be considering suicide or dropout prevention or things like that, were some of the examples that they mentioned.
so as your question about liability, not any more than anybody else that goes to the library or
A
comes to any
patron.
other city building. As it relates to, can we do it, that's why I wanted to know what they're doing. It does state this, if they're doing something that all of you feel is a benefit to the community, is good for everyone, and that can be good in terms of direct services, but indirectly, if they're providing mental health services and it helps people in the community that potentially may commit crimes, or, you know, provide challenges to family situations that potentially affects others. But basically, if you feel like this is good for everybody, then you can do it. What I'd like to do down the road, though, is that because you're helping an agency or organization, the Texas Constitution basically requires you to first declare that it's public purpose. We as a council say it's good for our community as a whole. And then you have to declare that publicly, usually through a resolution. Secondly, you have to impose certain conditions and controls. But basically, they can say, if you do what you say you're going to do, and we have a way of measuring it, that is, you report what you do, and we can determine independently that what you said you were going to do, you do. That's measuring that it will indeed benefit the public. And then it is an exception to the general prohibition that says you cannot waive fees, give money away, or help out nonprofits, organizations, corporations, and individuals. And we've discussed this in the past, but the only exclusion to even that is state law does say that water can't be given for free to anyone. Only discounts are available to the elderly. And the only exception to that is if the city owns the school, that is, you own the school, not you have a school district, then you provide free water. And that comes up. But otherwise, anybody comes to ask you for money, you've got to always make that determination by resolution. You declare public purpose, it is good, we're going on record saying that it's good for everybody, as opposed to one business or just a group or an organization, but it benefits us all. And then you have certain measures in place that say you can measure the benefit, hold them accountable, and then you're good.
So we gotta pass a resolution.
You can do this tonight, and then certainly bring a resolution down the road, and I would just recommend this, and you know, we can certainly come up with a resolution as a template for whenever these requests come down the road. For example, fee waivers. You'd say, is it beneficial? For example, is it gonna bring revenue? Hotel motel taxes? Is it gonna bring increased sales taxes? That obviously is always a benefit to the entire community because that additional revenue helps offset what you're gonna have to otherwise raise. And that can be the public benefit.
Can we request that if we do allow them to do this, that they allow the general public to maybe, if they need councilmen to come in?
They have to go through some kind of
There's a
a,
process.
yeah, it's a process, that you have to call like this number, and then they tell you whether or not you qualify.
They have some criteria probably that they have to follow.
Sure, but the services should be available to
Yeah,
all, so
it's
long
right
as
there.
they go through the process. It's the same thing like providing a building to the chamber, it's the same corollary. As it relates to the library, so long as people are still gonna have access and they have the ability to schedule in advance what days, and I'm thinking it's not the entire library, it's like the back room.
It's the
right?
back room, the
Okay.
community room that's rented out.
The contract calls for just that, to
Sure.
work with scheduling.
It
Yes.
certainly is doable for you folks, if you decide to do so.
Okay, council, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Item 9D, discuss and consider an act on adopting a resolution authorizing the city manager to negotiate, accept the terms, and enter into a sole agreement for the purchase of an air curtain burner burn box T24.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilwoman R. Garza, a second by Councilwoman A. Garza. Brad, talk about your burner.
This burner here, is
It
actually
looks small.
It's like a P-51.
Hector and Ms. Moran, both can be worked on this, did a good job. This is part of a grant that is through TCEQ, I believe,
Yes.
through ACOG. And so what we were able to do is we're asking for, to allow us to purchase of this. So what the grant calls for is they reimburse us half, I should have asked for more, but reimbursement for half of that. Price. So that, what we wanna do with that is all of our brush, most of our brush out there that we have out and that gets collected out there, we are looking to do our own.
Cause
Now,
we were paying,
Yes.
that month, wasn't
yes.
it?
how big is that little trailer?
It is
The specs are, in your,
the specs are in there, let me go to,
you can.
No, the 82, I'll start building them
Next page.
for that price.
no, you won't.
That's the sole source letter,
But
the
they
next
are,
page,
the next page, it's,
right here, right
also,
Overall
there's a link,
signs,
the width and the height, and then the firebox, what that is. So what it is what we're using them, there's some really huge burners that they use. Actually, we were considering one where we had all that brush piled up. We were considering working with a group out of Austin to come in and burn that brush, but it's way bigger than what we're proposing. So what that is, it just gives us an opportunity to have, and we're gonna have that out at the transfer station. And Ms. Moran's still working on the permitting through TCEQ, but I think she's almost there, finishing up with the permitting. But once we do that, we'll be able to incinerate our brush, and that's what it'll be used for, so we hope to cut that expense.
Mayor.
Fred, you wanna let them know just what kind of cost saving you anticipate that being?
Well, again, on a yearly basis, I believe we paid Montes close to over $25,000 a year. 20, I don't remember the exact price, but I wanna say it's $28,000 a year. So we anticipate this will pay out in about 2 years.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a question?
Yes. How many cubic yards does it burn per hour?
Cubic yards.
It should be.
Yeah, because
It has
we have some
a fuel tank of 10 gallons, capacity. Now, let's see, it's,
Because, I mean, this thing, I mean, the only reason I'm saying is because it's small, it's only 12 foot.
But
It's
it
only-
burns, it does burn a lot, sir,
But how many cubic foot per hour?
let's see if it's on there.
benefits right
There
there.
It says
is
right
1,000
there-
hours of wood, 20,
13 tons per hour.
Oh, my.
yeah, it's a, we call it the green mean machine. And it's very powerful.
I think we're gonna see some success with
13
this.
tons per hour?
That's what it says.
And then the benefits is it turns it not into like the wood chips. I think we tried the wood chips
Turns
and then we
into
couldn't get
ash.
rid of them. It turns it into what we call char ash. And that char ash has nutrients that act as a soil enhancer, a soil additive. There's
That's 10 yards
actually,
an hour.
I'm sorry?
That's 10 yards an hour.
So that soil can then be used as a fertilizer. Austin has, of course, one of these bigger machines. They actually have a plant, and then they sell. It's called Dillo Dirt. They sell that at the landscaping places. So we have that option, but we also can, hand it out to residents who want to use that as a fertilizer or to farmers. So, part of the grant, when we wrote the grant, we included all those benefits.
We kind of took some lead, actually, this is a better tool, than the city of Castro has one of these. City of Castro has one that actually is, to me, they've made an effort, it's working okay for them, but to us, this is a better product, and we think it's gonna work for our needs.
Okay, council.
And the beauty of this is it will be located at the transfer station, but as you can see, we can attach it and take it. We also threw in an educational component to it as well to help score our grant. And that educational component is, of course, to take it to the schools, the Mean Green Machine, and show them what it does, talk about the eco-friendly purposes behind it. So, or we can take it to different sites. One of the things is we're trying to address the illegal dumping of brush.
Yep.
So Fred,
Yes, sir.
how many people are you gonna have standby?
I'm gonna have one
One.
staff, and we're gonna do, that staff member's there. We already have
So
somebody.
what is he gonna cost us per year? That one step.
It's in the budget, what we pay. It's that one person that's
Is
there.
it manual?
It's already there,
Yeah,
budget.
Mingo's there,
So he's gonna be doing burning and,
That's gonna be part of his task, yes. Part of it is we're gonna designate time for him to burn. We're not gonna just have him there every day, all day. Part of the challenge we have is, and to your point, is we don't know, to be quite frank, we don't know how many tons we accumulate. With that, we also don't know, we're paying a current vendor, we don't know how many tons he's actually disposing. you know what I mean? Because we don't measure in tons. So part of that issue is having a cost, a reoccurring cost every year. This is a control cost, meaning you have, with the exception of labor, you have this cost of one-time expense of purchasing.
10 cubic yards is not much. I just think, because 10 cubic yards, that 12-foot trailer
Mhm.
by 4-foot walls, if you just add 4 feet to the back of it, and that's already 13 cubic yards.